If she shares this with you, it's already too late, because a woman doesn't open that door unless her heart is already walking through it. Most men think love starts with compliments, flirting, long late-night calls. It doesn't. Attraction can start there. Curiosity can start there. But love begins in a place far quieter, far more dangerous. It begins when she feels safe enough to reveal something she doesn't show the world. Understand this. Women are taught from a young age to filter themselves, to present strength, to present beauty, to present control. Even the most confident woman you know has layers she doesn't casually hand out. When she's dating casually, she keeps it light, fun, polished. She'll laugh, she'll tease, she'll charm you, but she won't bleed in front of you. The moment she shares something vulnerable, something imperfect, something from her past that still carries emotion, that's not random, that's not boredom, that's not just conversation, that is psychological investment. When she tells you about a childhood insecurity, when she admits she overthinks, when she confesses she's scared of being left, when she reveals a mistake she regrets, that is her saying, without saying, I trust you with the unedited version of me. Trust is the gateway to love. Here's what most men miss. Women don't fall in love just because of how you look or how much money you make. Those things can attract attention, but love grows in emotional safety. If she feels judged, she closes up. If she feels dismissed, she recalibrates. If she feels exposed without protection, she pulls away. But if she shares something delicate and you handle it with calm strength, no mockery, no panic, no overreaction, you've just stepped into a rare category. You become associated with comfort, with grounding, with stability. Psychologically, the brain links emotional relief with attachment. When she opens up and feels accepted, her nervous system relaxes, and the person present in that moment, you becomes tied to that sense of relief. That's powerful. And here's the truth most people won't tell you. Women test emotional safety before they admit emotional desire. She might not say, I love you. She might not even realize she's falling. But if she's sharing fears, dreams, family wounds, private ambitions, she's already emotionally invested. Because vulnerability is expensive, and women don't invest emotionally where they see no future. So the next time she pauses and says, can I tell you something? And her tone shifts, don't treat it lightly. Don't turn it into a joke. Don't rush to fix it like a problem. Just listen. Hold your frame, let her speak. If she feels understood instead of analyzed, if she feels heard instead of corrected, something shifts inside her. That shift is attachment forming. And once attachment forms, love isn't far behind. There's something else she'll share when she's already falling for you. And it doesn't look dramatic. In fact, it looks ordinary. But psychologically, it's everything. She starts sharing her future. Not in a heavy, let's get married tomorrow way. Not in pressure, not in intensity. It's subtle. She'll say things like, we should go there someday. Or you'd love my favorite place back home. Or even, I've always wanted to try that. Listen carefully to the language. If she's speaking in we, her subconscious has already included you in her mental blueprint. Women don't fantasize about futures with men they don't feel emotionally safe with. They may enjoy moments, they may enjoy attention, but they do not mentally extend a man into their long-term world unless he's activated something deeper. When she shares her long-term dreams, career goals, travel plans, the kind of home she wants, the lifestyle she imagines, she's not just talking, she's measuring, she's observing how you react. Do you dismiss it? Do you compete with it? Do you shrink from it? Or do you expand with it? A woman in love doesn't just want romance, she wants alignment. Here's a psychological truth most people overlook. Women bond through shared vision. When she begins inviting you into her aspirations, she's checking if you fit into her emotional ecosystem. If you respond with curiosity instead of ego, support instead of insecurity, you deepen that bond. And there's something even more revealing. When she starts asking your opinion on serious decisions, not surface-level choices, not which dress looks better, but real decisions. Career moves, family matters, personal growth steps. When she values your perspective in areas that affect her life, she's already placed you in a position of importance. Respect is a pillar of female attachment. Attraction might be sparked by excitement, But love grows where respect lives. If she didn't respect you, she wouldn't care what you think. If she didn't value you, she wouldn't open her long-term thinking to your input. This is where many men make a mistake. They either become overly dominant, trying to control her decisions, or overly passive, afraid to express a firm opinion. Both extremes break polarity. What she actually wants is grounded leadership, calm certainty, thoughtful input without force. When you give her that, her emotional investment increases. Because now, she doesn't just feel safe with you, she feels supported. And support builds partnership. Partnership builds attachment. Attachment builds love. Pay attention to how often she brings you into her world, how naturally she integrates you into her plans, how comfortable she becomes imagining experiences with you in them. Women fall in love quietly, before they admit it loudly. By the time she's consistently sharing her inner world and her future vision with you, her heart is already leaning in your direction. And here's the deeper layer. When she imagines you beside her in her future, she begins fearing your absence. That fear isn't weakness, it's emotional investment. And once someone fears losing you, they've already started loving you. There's another thing she'll share when she's already in love, and it doesn't sound romantic at all. She'll share her jealousy, not the dramatic, chaotic kind, not control, not toxicity, but subtle moments where her tone shifts, where she asks a little more about another woman, where she goes quiet after you mention someone new, where she suddenly wants clarity. Most men misread this. They think she's insecure, or they think it's a game. But psychologically, jealousy isn't about control. It's about perceived emotional risk. A woman only feels threatened by losing something she values. If she wasn't invested, she wouldn't care. She wouldn't analyze your tone. She wouldn't notice changes in your patterns. She wouldn't feel a slight tightening in her chest at the idea of competition. Indifference is the opposite of love, not jealousy. When she shares her discomfort instead of hiding it, that's vulnerability layered on top of attachment. She's risking looking too much. She's risking seeming emotional. Why? Because losing you would hurt more than protecting her pride. That's not weakness, that's depth. And here's what most people never understand about female psychology. Women bond through emotional exclusivity. When she begins to see you as hers internally, even before anything is official, her nervous system reacts to potential threats. But how she handles it tells you everything. If she communicates calmly, if she says, "I just felt a little weird about that," instead of attacking, that means she trusts you enough to express insecurity instead of masking it with distance. Trust plus jealousy equals emotional attachment. Now here's where your behavior determines everything. If you mock her feelings, she will close. If you escalate her insecurity, she will protect herself. If you use jealousy to manipulate her attention, you might win short-term validation, but you lose long-term devotion. However, if you respond with reassurance without surrendering your independence, something powerful happens. You stay grounded. You don't over-explain. You don't become defensive. You simply affirm her place in your life through calm energy and consistent behavior. Consistency is the oxygen of female love. When she sees that her vulnerability doesn't push you away, when she sees that her emotional honesty doesn't make you unstable, she relaxes deeper into the bond. And here's the quiet truth. Women rarely express jealousy toward men they don't care about. They simply detach. Detachment is silent, jealousy speaks. So when she shares that flicker of concern, that subtle shift in tone, that need for reassurance, understand what's underneath it. It's not control. It's attachment. It's the fear of losing someone who has become emotionally significant. And by the time she's afraid of losing you, she's already in love with you, even if she hasn't found the words yet. But the clearest sign she's already in love with you isn't dramatic. It isn't loud. It isn't something you can screenshot and show your friends. It's this. She starts sharing her silence with you. In the beginning, everything is performance. Energy is high. Conversations are sharp. There's effort, there's polish. Both of you are slightly on. That's attraction. But love removes performance. When a woman can sit next to you without filling every second with noise, when she can be quiet on the phone and not feel pressure, when she can show up without makeup, without perfect words, without curated energy, and still stay present. That's emotional security. And emotional security is the foundation of love. Silence reveals comfort. Comfort reveals attachment. If she didn't feel deeply connected, she would keep impressing you. She would keep proving herself. She would keep trying to maintain mystery. But when she's in love, she relaxes. She lets you see her tired days, her low-energy moods, her random thoughts that don't make sense. She shares the boring parts of her day, the small details no one else would care about. Why? Because love shifts the goal from impressing you to including you. When she sends you something small that reminded her of you, when she updates you about things that don't require updating, when she wants you involved in moments that aren't exciting but are real, that's intimacy. Intimacy isn't intensity, it's consistency. And here's the deeper psychological truth. The human brain bonds through repetition and emotional familiarity. The more you become part of her daily rhythm, the more your presence feels like home. Women fall in love when a man feels like home, not chaos, not adrenaline, not unpredictability. Those create sparks, but home creates permanence. If she seeks your presence after a long day, not for entertainment, not for validation, but for peace, that's love. If she chooses you when she's stressed, confused, overwhelmed, that's trust anchored in attachment. If she opens her unfiltered thoughts and doesn't fear you walking away, that's emotional surrender. And emotional surrender is something a woman only gives when she feels deeply. Now here's what you must understand. Love isn't proven by big speeches. It's proven by small access. Access to her fears, access to her dreams, access to her jealousy, access to her silence. If she shares these with you, she's not thinking about loving you. She already does. The real question is, are you handling her heart with the maturity it requires? Or are you chasing validation while she's offering devotion? Because when a woman loves deeply and feels mishandled, she doesn't argue forever. She withdraws. And when she withdraws, she rarely comes back the same. So let me ask you something personal. Has she been quietly sharing these parts of herself with you, and you didn't realize what it meant? Tell me in the comments what's something she shared that made you see her differently. If this opened your eyes, like the video, subscribe for more truths they never taught you, and share this with someone who needs to understand what real emotional investment looks like.